Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. I know what you're probably thinking here. We've been here before and we've already done this, but actually this was the first of the two Glarry instruments that I bought on Amazon, and it just happened to arrive second. This is a little bit different than the Strat, and let's go ahead and do an unboxing and I'll show you what we've got. Alright, well what we have here is a Glarry Les Paul Jr. style guitar, and it's one of the cheapest Les Paul Juniors I've seen. It is a bolt-on neck, but it was only about 86 bucks on Amazon. Unfortunately, it looks like this one received a little bit of damage in transit. It's got some damage down here, and the worst of it is probably up here at the headstock, where it looks like it's been dropped on the headstock. There was a hole in the box right at that spot, so I don't think I'm going to be able to give this one its full due, but let's go ahead and take a look at it and see what's going on with it. Okay, so the general specs on this thing so far are it's double humbucker. It's got a sort of a Gibson style stop bar and adjustable bridge tailpiece. It's got tone and volume knobs and a three-way rhythm and treble switch. Unfortunately, that looks like it's bent too from the shipping. It's got a Gibson style nut. It's 24 3/4 scale like a Gibson. It's got a set of mini tuners on it, and they have sort of oversized heads. The finish on the back of the neck, aside from a little gloppy overspray or glue or something that's on here, looks pretty decent, and it's not a real thick finish. It's a little bit more finish than the Strat that I featured a little while ago, and there's like a kerf joint or something, I believe that's what that's called, in the neck, where it's basically two pieces. The headstock and the main length of the neck are two pieces. Bolt-on neck, and there is a control cavity cover here in the back. Strap buttons are the little cheap strap buttons that were the same ones that were on the Strat. And let's go ahead and take the cavity cover off and see what's under there. Well, under here it's just the worst. I mean, it's like, I don't even know what kind of switch that is. It's definitely not a Gibson style switch. There's two mini pots in there. I don't know what values they are. I'm assuming they're 500K. Just generally kind of cheap wiring. There's a whole lot of polishing compound, which is ironic because the finish is not very well polished, and there's a lot of lines in it that run this way. And I can see the joints in the body where it's been joined. The jack is a football style jack with a really thin nut on the jack itself, so I can assume that that's a really low quality jack. I don't think that's an unsafe assumption. There's knots in the fretboard, which I find really surprising. It must not be... Ouch. Sorry, I just got hurt by the frets. It must not be a really high quality wood that's been used on the fretboard. I think it's probably laurel or something, like Indian laurel. But yeah, this fret here bit me. And man, that is a shredder. Oh man. I gotta say, that's way worse than the Strat. That Glarry Strat was miles above this thing in terms of the fretboard. Yeah, that thing would hurt somebody. Alright, well, I'm definitely not keeping this instrument because of the damage and because it's so bad. But let me see if there's any way I can get a reading off those pickups. So the bridge humbucker looks like it reads right at around 10.9 or 11K. And the neck humbucker reads just under 10.9K. So I bet that the neck and the bridge humbucker are identical humbuckers. They're just in different positions. They do have different color wires, I'll say that for them. So maybe they are a neck and a bridge humbucker, but in a guitar this cheap, you never know. Of course, the pickup heights have not been set at all. The action is very, very, very high. I have no idea if this truss rod can be adjusted. I'm not sure I'm going to even get into it, to be honest, because I don't know how far I should disassemble this thing before I return it. But maybe I'll see if the truss rod can be adjusted. So I thought I'd show the accessories that the guitar comes with. So it does come with this case that, if you saw the Glarry Strat video, is actually a little bit better than the case that came with the Strat. It's still a backpack case, so it's got the straps, but it's just a little bit thicker quality, and the handles are better. It's a little bit better all around. It also came with this pretty much the same strap, picks, and Allen wrench that the Strat came with, and it came with the instrument cable. And this instrument cable is actually a little bit better than the one that came with the Strat. So there's some interesting features about the body itself before I attempt to set this thing up anymore. There's a joint you can see in the top, and I assume it goes all the way through, where there's two pieces of wood here, and I think that matches the line that I saw on the back, so I'm going to assume it's a solid wood body. The routing is really terrible. There's actually a kind of a sharp edge here, or a corner in the route where it's supposed to be a smooth curve, if that makes sense. So there's that, and then the finish itself has not been polished all the way out. There's some haziness around the neck pocket. None of this is really surprising given how cheap it is, but like, given the amount of compound that I saw in the back cavity, I would have thought that they would not have made that mistake. And like I said, there's lines in the finish, and they go different directions. On this part of the body they go this way, and up here they're going this way. So I don't know what's going on with that. I don't think that's a shipping mistake, because this thing was shipped fully in styrofoam, but it did wear through the styrofoam and was rubbing on the cardboard in spots. The nut has some damage. Presuming that's from shipping, although it doesn't really make sense. It did not get hit in that spot. I'm not sure what's going on there, but there's a spot. Maybe that's just extra glue. I don't know, but there's a weird finish flaw right here. I mean, that's kind of where you would expect to see a flaw if somebody was setting it on a stand or something, but it's not that. It's just a scratch. Again, dings here and here from the shipping. That's to be expected. There's another corner up in here in the horn that shouldn't be there. That should be one smooth radius. The neck, the side of the neck has some spots that need to be sanded. Yeah, this thing just has too many flaws going for it for me to even call it a guitar at this point. I mean, it's just almost like a toy or a wall hanger or something. It really definitely needs a shim in the neck pocket, but you know what wouldn't surprise me is if I opened it up and I already saw one there. Alright, well, my camera cut out when I was checking neck relief, but this thing has 0 neck relief in it. My scale goes down to 0.0015, and I was able to get that feeler gauge under the 8th fret, but it's not really, I mean, there's effectively no neck relief in it. They also, I can tell, did not cut the nut properly. I'm sure the nut slots are way too shallow. You know, I know guitars when they come out of the box are supposed to have some setup, but they're not supposed to shred your hand like this out of the box. And I'm not kidding, like, this is dangerous level shredding. I just don't have anything good to say about this thing. It's going back to Amazon. If you guys check Amazon, you might be able to find a good deal on one that's open box, but just know that if it's this one, you don't want it. Well, the more time I spend with this thing, the more things I find that are wrong with it. The fretboard actually doesn't come all the way to the edge of the neck here. So there's quite a little bit of a ledge here. And I've figured out why the action is so high. In the neck pocket itself, the neck is actually pulling away from the body. And I think I could write that off to a shipping mistake. You know, if there was damage during shipping and this guitar got a whack on the headstock, I mean, it's a testament to the fact that the headstock didn't break, but somehow or another the neck started pulling away from the body, and I can see wood chips inside there like the screws maybe are pulling out of the neck. This is not a keeper guitar in any form or fashion. I wish I had a little bit more of an episode to show you all. I was really hoping to get into this thing and see how it sounded and everything, but it's not even worth plugging in. The fretboard is dangerous, to be quite honest, and the electronics, the strings being so far away from the body and the damage to the neck and the neck pocket here, I'm not going to mess with it. thank you all for watching. I apologize I didn't have much more of an episode to this, but at least you kind of know the quality you're going to get with this thing. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you all again for subscribing, liking the videos, and leaving comments. See ya.